Hello and welcome to Warriors Condensed. My name is Norgoz and I've broken down the original Warriors Den footage into an easy-to-consume 15-minute package. This includes everything from fashion to competitive to patch notes. Timestamps and titles have been added for clarity. Subscribe for more.
And as JC mentioned, starting tomorrow with the launch of the title update, Ruler of Time Chapter 1 will be going for the first week, and then Wraith of Time Chapter 2 will be starting on May 1st and will run for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's from Warrior Within, and the game mode event is really it's from Sands of Time. So it's really a big, like you mentioned, it's a big celebration of the Prince of Persia brand. We're super psyched to do this with them. The hero skin on Aramusha looks absolutely insane.
Yeah. Going to be live, available tomorrow with the launch of the title update for $14.99 USD, or in-game for steel for $31,250 steel.
The players will be able to choose the color and the intensity of the sun effect, so they can choose if they want it to appear very brightly or not. They'll have full control on that.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's super cool. Again, like the end product here is absolutely incredible. Like it looks so good. Like to just see kind of this Warrior Within brought to life in the world of For Honor. Just an amazing like transposition here onto like the Aramusha, who just really fits well with his like kind of weapons and his style. First thing is the battle outfit. We have Kylina's Disciple here, which is a very cool like green and like sandstone color scheme with cool like hourglass motifs in the symbols. That's great. We have a mood effect too, the Sabulous Times, which I gotta remember it means sandy or gritty. So it's sandy times, which makes a lot of sense for.
It's the word of the day, right?
It is, yes. Sand, sandy, gritty. We love sand, or we hate sand because it gets everywhere. It's fine. And we have an ornament too. You can loot the Hourglass of Persia, which is very cool. And this has all been, again, retrofit for all of our new heroes. So we are bringing back the mythic outfit. Oh, no, sorry. We have a new mythic outfit, Darkness Within, available from April 24th through May 15th. So that one is going to go really sweet with all the other awesome Prince of Persia themed content. So get that. Looks really good with the hero skin. Again, don't forget Time Manipulator. The new execution we talked about today, available from May 1st through May 15th, and the new signature Weightless Respite, and the Rewind Time. Sorry. Oh, there's so much content.
Time Manipulator.
Time Manipulator emote, Rewind Time execution, the Weightless Respite signature. So it's going to be awesome. We're also bringing back some of the illustrious outfits we had during the first round of the Prince of Persia event. It's been retrofitted for everybody. So the Ratash's Army illustrious outfit and Sandwraith's Servant. And don't forget too, folks, that the original execution we had for this mode, Blade of Fate, is also coming back. So I got a little ahead of myself, and I apologize, but let's just appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, you see the expertise that the team has in building all of this stuff is unparalleled in this industry. Yeah, I'm always amazed, and it's again I say amazed all the time because I can't say any other word. I'm flabbergasted.
That is a different word. I like it.
Yeah,
it's a good word too.
But yeah, everything looks great.
Yeah, and we have new material too coming out. Sandstone. This is just the sandiest season. We got all the sandy updates for everybody there, so keep an eye out for all of that. It's fabulous.
we have a new competitive circuit. Awesome. It's called Triple Threat. So again, like we had before, 4v4 to 2v2 to 1v1 like we had for last year. It's amazing. So Nolan, you have a bit more details for this.
Oh, yeah. Signups are open now. So this year's circuit, we are also implementing circuit points. So this is new. These points are going to be weighted to revolve around individual performances. So this is the way you get more points as the circuit goes. They're also weighted in this way to ensure the least amount of ties. Depending on where you finish in the circuit, you as an individual will also be rewarded points, which will be tallied at the end of the circuit to see who truly is the GOAT.
Oh, yeah. That's me, right?
It's you. But,
Yeah, it's me.
but who after JC?
Okay, yeah, after me.
Who's
Yeah,
the
okay,
second GOAT
yeah,
after that?
that's
Because we know JC's the GOAT already. Of course. The tournament will begin on June 28th. So you got some time to sign up, but don't wait too long because you got to get in there.
Yeah.
So that's great.
So now let's have a look at our patch notes for this tea, right? So first up, we have some changes to Katoon. I can't pronounce it properly, so I'm just going to say Katoon there. So we're making changes to Angry Storm and Ultimate Authority. So those are the zone attacks. The first one that you do while you're running towards your opponent, and the second one is after you pin your opponent with Bloody Wrath. So for the one while you're running, we improved the weapon trajectories to better match the weapon visuals. So we extended the trajectory, like the hitbox of the weapon, so that it'll hit external opponents a little bit better. And we've also made the trajectory start a little bit earlier. So that's one thing that it's not always obvious for players. It's a number we can tweak to go during the strike. We can change when the trajectory becomes active. And so in this case, it became active at 466 ms. We're buffing that to start at 433. So it can hit 33 ms earlier when the attack starts. So it might not seem like a big change, but it's one of those little levers that we have that we can tweak things to make the attacks a little bit better. So that's a nice buff for that. And on Ultimate Authority, which is the one after Bloody Wrath, we improved the trajectory again to hit more people around you. It was a bit lackluster, so with that change, it should hit people out externally a bit more consistently.
Gotcha.
Next up, we have some slight buffs to Nobushi, right? So Side Dodge, Cobra Strike, and Sidewinder form now have increased sideways movement. So when you're dodging towards the side, whatever dodge attack you're performing, you're going to move a little bit further. So that's a bit of a buff to her group fight. We know, right, and we're quite aware that she has issues in 1v1. We're looking into it to figure out what we can do. I know people go, hey, just put the kickfire in a mess. And it's something that we've tried, but it breaks the animation too much. It doesn't look good. It doesn't fit to our standards. And I'd rather we take our time a little bit more, figure out an interesting solution. We have some cool stuff that we're testing out that's in the pipeline, but we're not 100% there yet. So in the meantime, we're doing some slight buffs to Nobushi to her group fights, again, to make her a little bit more viable. She's already really good in group fights, that works.
Yeah.
So we're buffing those things for Side Dodge, for Cobra Strike, and for Sidewinder to help her deal a little bit more with these things. We also increased the forward movement on her kick, again, to give her that a bit more range. It'll be a bit easier to engage people externally, get that sort of stuff going. It'll help against people that are just backwalking again in neutral. So it's a bit of a buff here. But again, increasing the speed didn't make any sense. The animation wasn't didn't look good. Slowing it down and making it feintable has the issue here a little bit of, because she has to go into a hidden stance first, a lot of the time, not always, but most of the time, it creates problems where if it takes too long, then it's too easy to backwalk. And then when you're able to backwalk it and the kick comes out way later, then we have to give it more forward movement to catch, and then it just looks really unnatural. So there's things that we have to figure out that we get into not to get too much into the weeds, but to see how we can buff Nobushi's ones so that she has offense. Again, she's super strong in group fights, so she probably just needs a little bit of help in ones to get more viable in ones. But we're looking at what we can do to round out our kit a little bit better to have more interesting things.
Nice. Good.
Then we have Varangian Guard. So we're one big nerf to 2 attacks, which is her light openers and finishers are no longer enhanced. I know some players are asking they want to have more. They want to have nerfs to the downstands. They want to have nerfs to some things. So again, we've been changing things a little bit. This is one of the big outliers, right? Because the thing that this hero has that is, from what we've seen in the data, from what we've been looking at, because those lights are always enhanced, the problem that tends to happen is, even if you end up blocking one of those opener lights, she's able to go into her heavy finishers constantly. And there's very little risk against most of the player base to throwing enhanced lights, right? At super top level, yeah, they're able to parry them. It's not so bad, but the hero is not massively overperforming at top level. But for the rest of our player base, it's a bit more problematic. And then you have those really, really, really powerful, unblockable finishers that pin, that loop back into a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So by removing those enhanced properties there, it makes Varangian need to actually do a front dodge bash, to do more stuff to get into the action and to initiate against other people. It's a bit riskier to use as well. So we're focusing on this for now. We're also going to keep an eye on the hero as it goes forward, how this affects the win rate, the pick rate, all that sort of stuff to see if this helps address the problem or not. There's probably more changes that need to be done to the hero down the line. But like I said, it's a bit of a difference that we're trying to do sometimes where we go like step by step. And yeah, it might take longer for a hero to get into the perfect position, right? Nobody's ever really perfect in those positions, but it makes them a little bit better to get there without nuking the hero from orbit, right? And so that's something we used to do that sometimes in the past when heroes were too problematic, but then it ends up feeling bad. It feels bad for everybody, right? Like you're playing your hero and then all of a sudden, it's borderline unplayable now.
Yeah.
That just feels bad. So we're trying to go like step by step. Yeah, it might still be a bit frustrating. It should be less frustrating to play against. That should help, and then we'll see how that goes forward.
Cool. Sounds good.
And then last but not least, Warmonger. So Warmonger, interestingly enough, has an extremely high win rate in both Dominion and in duels. So this is why some of those changes like are specifically tied to like both. We didn't want to change your feats too much right now because the problem that we see in the data, what we have is that, again, she's overperforming. She's really picked, but she's also overperforming in both duels and Dominion. So it's not the problem is not necessarily the feats, but it might be part of it. But we wanted to address this part of her kit first to see what we can do. So first up, our opener lights are no longer enhanced, right? So this means that, yeah, she still has to do front dodge bash to get into her offense. It also means that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to loop her bash into light into another follow-up.
Right.
So we're going to see how this ends up affecting the hero. I know it's a bit controversial. I know some players are going to be like I'm sure chat right now is not extremely excited, but at the same time, sometimes we have to do these changes to see where it's going to affect. And I'd rather it goes live and then we see what ends up happening. We can change things around than just doing a testing grounds and it takes forever. It takes longer for stuff to get in.
Yeah.
So it's going to affect the win rate right now. It should affect it a little bit and get into that position where it feels better to fight against her, and we get into a better position here.
Yeah.
We also nerfed Impale, so it travels 6.5 meters forward instead of 8. So it's a little bit of a nerf here. It's a test that we're doing to keep it on a heavy parry. I know like Lawbringer players are probably like, oh my god, I gotta remove a Lawbringer, right? And I get it. But on Warmonger, we wanted to try to keep it, but have less travel distance. So this should help, especially in duels where we have where we have smaller arenas. It's gonna make those wall splats happen less often. It lowers the damage you get off of a heavy parry. So it's still gonna happen, but it's gonna happen less often. And it helps guide players into the right place where, is this okay? Or do we need to adjust further? Again, it's incremental changes that we keep going over and over. But we're trying to figure out how can we put Warmonger specifically in the right spot in duels and then see how much that affects the minion as well and then readjust accordingly. Again, I don't want us to nuke anybody from orbit. I don't want to make any hero unplayable. It's not fun for everyone. So it's kind of where we're going.
Gotcha. Okay.
And this is it for our patch notes.